what does good look like in the context of converting leads that come from this paid traffic or even organic traffic where they've found this thing out themselves? And how do you actually train for it? Because I know obviously you're running ads right now and you do a lot of content as well. And so what are you doing there inside your own business to convert those leads specifically from the ads and the content?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like like lead temperatures massively affect how difficult it is to book in a call, right? You and I both know organic leads, this is so much easier because they trust you and they know who you are. Cold is going to be harder because you have no idea. And there's going to be like perceived connotations that come along with like sales anyway, right? So I think it's just like having the right mindset of exactly the characteristics of basically cold and warm leads before we get into it, rather than having the assumption of skill is just going to be the same. The process is going to be the same for all leads. It's just appointment set and just booking calls. No, you have to understand like the nature and the connotations that come with, what you're doing in both like warm and, cold leads, depending on the lead source. Right. So for cold, it's like, you have to understand you will get worse results and deal with more shit with cold. Doesn't matter how good of a salesperson you are. I don't care how good your script is, how good your tone is. You're going to struggle more with cold, right? If you're calling someone, for example, like a cold call compared to like someone that's opted in, like an inbound warm funnel lead, a cold call is gonna be like drastically more hard because there's no prior knowledge. They don't know who you are. You're just a voice over the phone. Whereas an inbound lead is just like if you call them, especially quickly as well. Speed to lead is also a big one, right? With inbound, then it's going to be much easier. So I think just understanding that and understanding that you will get worse results with cold and something where they're less likely to know who you are. Warm. But that's honestly the main thing, just adjusting it accordingly because people get discouraged if they do 100 cold calls and they booked in 3 calls. It's like you do realize you're well within KPI there. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like if you do 100 cold calls and you're booking in 3 appointments, like that is well, like I think you'd agree, Ben. That's well within KPI. Like normal KPI is like 2%, like
Yeah,
two
it's
to five,
scalable for
two to
sure.
5%, two to
Yeah.
5% is kind of the KPI. But then you got to remember, like, let's say you get like again, for that you must have had 97 no's, but it's easy to say that, like, on paper, like, "Oh, I'm gonna get 97 no's, I'm gonna book 3 appointments." To get 97 no's in one day is so discouraging, right? That you can't see until you look at the metrics and the data. That's also a big thing, tracking your stuff, right? Tracking your metrics, tracking your inputs. Like, you'll just think that you're just, like, the worst person in the world at cold calling. You think that you're terrible, right? So to get really good at it is thinking in data and logic, not in emotion, right? So understanding, like I said, the characteristics between each, understanding that if you're going to be calling cold ad leads or I don't know, for example, let's say they're inbound funnel leads, they're in the CRM, they've been sitting there for 2 years, that's basically a cold call, right? They probably might remember who you are, but because you left it for so long, it's basically the same nature of cold calling. Just having the right mindset around it and understanding, like, look, I'm going to make decisions based on whether I should change my script or change this or change that based on the metrics that I get after like a few hundred dials. That is when I will look at changing things. I look at the KPIs, I look at the ABR that I'm getting, for example, I look at the feedback. If it's not within KPI, then I'm going to change a 1 or 2 variables max, right? And like reiterate until I get it into KPI. And then, for example, let's say you get 97 no's, you book 3 appointments. In your mind, that's not good enough, even though that's well within KPI hygiene standard, right? Then you start change. You go, I'm going to change my opener. I'm going to change the way I present the call, and I'm going to take that line out of the pitch. And then you mess everything up even more, right? You haven't made a log of what you changed, so now you don't know what fixed it. Right? I don't know. Let's say you did fix it. Now you don't even know what fixed it. Let's say you messed it up even more. Now you don't even know what messed it up because you got greedy because you wanted to book 100 out of 100 cold calls into appointments. Yeah, that's how you get really good. It's just like detaching from making emotional decisions, understanding the characteristics of like the niche category, so to speak, that you're calling, and tracking your metrics and tracking your input. I always say this in my mentorship. I'm just like, there's a couple of lads that are like, I think there's something wrong with my script and I'm not booking that many appointments. And I go and look at their sheet and I just say to them, I'm just like, mate, just message more people. Just
Yeah.
reach out to more people. You are like, this is all it is. There's nothing to change here. Like, if you've got a system that's working, you just pour more in. Like, mate, if you find a machine that spits out £3 for every pound you put in, You're not going to sit there and go, "Oh, it only gives me £3 every £1 I put in." You just get all of the £1 coins you could find and just chuck them all in, wouldn't you? You're not
Yeah.
going to go and like open up the machine, try and get it to spit out £10 instead of three, and then risk messing up the entire machine because you're greedy. You just go and get all the money you have in the world and just keep sticking these £1 coins in. That's what you would do.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.